Have you ever scrolled through social media, seen someone's curated life, the designer clothes, the exotic travel, the perfectly renovated home, and felt that familiar pang? That whisper in your mind asking, am I doing enough? Am I truly free? It turns out that subtle sense of inadequacy, that feeling of being perpetually behind, isn't entirely accidental. We're living through an invisible audit, constantly comparing our internal financial realities against a relentless, algorithmically amplified stream of external appearances. This isn't just about keeping up with the Joneses anymore. It's about keeping up with an idealized, often manufactured, version of the Joneses, and it's subtly, yet profoundly, reshaping our very definition of financial freedom. The trap begins subtly, with the very human impulse to belong and to gauge our progress against others. For millennia, this was a local affair, a comparison with our immediate neighbors or peers. But today, thanks to the pervasive influence of artificial intelligence and social platforms, this comparison has become global, instantaneous, and often deeply misleading. Algorithms designed to maximize engagement actively curate and amplify aspirational content. They learn what triggers our desires, what evokes envy or ambition, and then feed us an endless stream of it. This creates a distorted reality where extravagant vacations, luxury brand purchases, and ostentatious displays of consumption become the implicit benchmarks for financial success. Psychology, far more than simple math, explains why we fall for this. Our brains are wired for social signaling. From an evolutionary perspective, demonstrating resources was a survival advantage, a way to attract mates or secure status. Today, those same primal instincts are being exploited. When we see someone showcasing a new high-end watch or a first-class flight, our limbic system doesn't immediately run a cost-benefit analysis. Instead, it registers success, status, desirability. This emotional response overrides rational thought, convincing us that these external signifiers are not just pleasant additions to life, but essential components of financial freedom itself. We confuse performative affluence, the kind that demands an audience, with genuine, invisible wealth that offers optionality and control. This isn't just lifestyle inflation, it's status inflation, driven by a digital mirror that constantly shows us what we supposedly lack. Consider the stark contrast revealed by financial research. Studies like The Millionaire Next Door highlighted a clear divide: the prodigious accumulators of wealth, or PAWs, and the underaccumulators of wealth, UAWs. POBs are often characterized by their inconspicuous consumption. They drive reliable, often used cars. They live in modest homes relative to their income. Their wealth is not visible. It's accumulated in investments, paid-off assets, and robust savings. They prioritize financial independence over outward displays of affluence. In stark contrast, UAWs often project an image of success. They purchase luxury items, lease expensive vehicles, and live in homes that stretch their budgets. Their perceived wealth is often an illusion, underpinned by debt and a constant chase to maintain appearances. The invisible audit of social media amplifies the UAW lifestyle, making it seem like the norm or even the ideal for financial freedom. Let's delve into specific behaviors fueled by this invisible audit and the quiet costs they accrue. Take, for instance, the relentless pursuit of the perfect aesthetic, particularly in our homes. The constant parade of perfectly staged interiors on Instagram or Pinterest creates an expectation that our living spaces should be showroom ready. The behavior is this: spending excessively on home decor, renovations, or even larger, more expensive homes than necessary, not out of functional need, but out of a desire to match an idealized image. The hidden cost here isn't just the direct expense, it's the opportunity cost of that capital. What could that $20,000 renovation or the extra $500 a month in mortgage payments have done elsewhere? Over the long term, that money, if invested at a modest 7% annual return, could have compounded into a substantial sum. Imagine redirecting that $500 monthly for 30 years and then seeing the exponential growth of that capital, the unsexy alternative. A functional, comfortable home that meets your needs, prioritizes durability over trendiness, and channels excess capital into appreciating assets rather than depreciating decor. Then there's the insidious allure of performative travel and experiences. The constant feed of exotic getaways, gourmet meals, and once-in-a-lifetime adventures pressures us to constantly upgrade our leisure. The behavior is booking extravagant trips, dining at high-end restaurants, or engaging in exclusive experiences primarily for the social currency, they provide the perfect photo, the bragging rights. The hidden cost goes beyond the ticket price. It's the capital that could have been invested, compounding for your future. A 5,000 vacation. While creating memories doesn't generate income or build equity, if that 5,000 were invested instead in just a decade with compound interest, it could easily become $10,000 without you lifting a finger. The long-term math shows us how quickly these repeated, expensive experiences deplete our capacity for true financial independence. The unsexy alternative involves rediscovering local treasures, focusing on meaningful connections rather than curated backdrops, and understanding that genuine enjoyment often comes without a hefty price tag or the need for public validation. Finally, consider the most visible signal of aspiration for many: the vehicle. The constant parade of luxury car leases on social media, often presented as a symbol of success, drives a very specific behavior. People lease brand new, expensive cars they often cannot truly afford, perpetually locked into high monthly payments. The hidden cost is immense rapid depreciation, the complete lack of equity, and the monthly drain on resources. Imagine a $600 monthly car payment. That's $7,200 annually. If that sum were invested consistently for 10 years, it could grow into a six-figure sum, far exceeding the value of the car itself, which would have depreciated into a fraction of its original cost. The unsexy alternative: buying a reliable, slightly used car outright or opting for a more economical model, driving it for years, and redirecting those significant monthly savings into high-yield investments. This simple shift fundamentally alters your long-term financial trajectory. Ultimately, shifting our identity around wealth means recognizing that true financial freedom isn't about what you show, but what you have, and more importantly, what it enables. It's about optionality, the power to choose how you spend your time, who you work for, and what risks you're willing to take. It's the quiet confidence of knowing your bills are covered, your future is secure, and your choices are your own, unburdened by the need for external validation. This freedom is invisible to the casual observer. It doesn't photograph well, it rarely goes viral, but it offers a profound sense of control and peace that no amount of performative consumption can ever deliver. It's about cultivating genuine security over superficial status. The invisible audit doesn't have to define your standards. So here is one immediate action you can take. Starting today, for the next 24 to 48 hours, consciously observe your social media feed. Every time you see an aspirational image or lifestyle presented as a marker of success, pause. Ask yourself, is this truly what I want? Or is it an externally imposed standard designed to trigger comparison? Then, identify just one discretionary expense you might make in the coming days: a coffee, a meal out, a small purchase, and instead of buying it, take that exact amount and transfer it to a separate savings or investment account. This small act of redirecting capital, driven by conscious choice rather than algorithmic influence, is the first step in reclaiming your financial narrative.